Hello everyone. So my husband suggested that I try and draw a toucan today. So I've been having a look online at a bunch of toucan images and I came across this nice painting over here. Now this is a watercolor painting of a toucan. I'm going to do it a little bit differently using some permanent markers too. But I think this one is quite a nice simple shape for us to try. So feel free to have a look for your own cool toucan images, but I'm going to see what we can do with this one. So what I need for this is a black permanent marker to do the black areas. If you've got one even fatter than this, that's good. Or you could even use black paint. I'm going to use my pencil and my eraser to start with because I haven't drawn this before, so it might be a bit tricky for a first time. And then I'm going to be using some watercolors to add detail in the chest area and in the beak because he has a nice colourful beak. So I've got a whole bunch of these marker pens here which will dilute with water. They're water soluble. So any marker pens that are water soluble will work for this, but I am using watercolour paper. It really helps if you have slightly thicker watercolour paper, helps for these to melt a lot better. So I've got all of my materials ready. I'm going to pop them over there and I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and see if I can manage to draw this toucan in 5 minutes. So if you've got a pencil and an eraser, we can begin. So let's set the timer. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is do a little sort of wavy line for your branch down below. Okay, I'm going to pop that. Then the next thing we're going to do is a sort of an egg shape that's sort of on a slant. Now this is going to be the main part of your toucan's body. Not really an egg actually, because it's not going narrower at one end. It's kind of staying the same fatness. So we'll call this an oval. It's not tapering at all. We want to have that just slightly higher than our branch so that we can have his legs. Now once you've done your first sort of oval shape, we're going to do another one. This time a bit more of an egg shape that tapers. This is going to be his chest and his neck. And this is going to go all the way up to his eye. And it's going to overlap. Look how the two shapes are kind of overlapping. Now once you've done these two basic shapes, we're going to add a big beak over here now, not quite from the top of your second oval, just a little bit down, and we're going to go out, and it's going to go much wider than the fatness of that body there. It's going to go right the way out over here. A toucan has a truly massive beak. It's going to come down, make a little hook at the bottom, and then go back up again. Now it's really nice and chunky, this beak. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. It mustn't be too thin. Remember, these toucans have really massive beaks, so so once we've got this basic outline of the beak shape in here, we're going to just add a little curve coming out from the face, round it off, and then let's look at the very tip of the beak and take that back up and make a little dividing line that sort of splits the beak more or less in half, with the top maybe slightly fatter than the bottom half. It's going to go all the way back into there. So we've got our nice curvy shape there, and then this area underneath will be black. Right, so now we've got this second kind of oval shape here. Let's erase the area where they overlap. Actually, I'm going to make this a bit bigger coming down into his body because that's his sort of colourful chest and we don't want that to be too small. Now let's go back to the top of his head, and from the beak, where it meets the beak, let's go out a little bit fatter. And this is going to be the black area of his head that's around the coloured part. Bring it down till it meets your first sort of fat oval. Then it's coming out. Again, we're just going to make that line a bit harder so you guys can really see it there. And then his tail is going to go beneath the branch. So let's make the second line of that branch, and his tail is kind of coming from behind there. Now we just need some feet, so let's make a sort of a little zigzag line. It's going to go out and then back in, and then we're going to add his 3 front claws there. 1, 2, 3. His legs are a little bit fatter at the top, but then it gets really thin at the bottom. and he has a back claw that kind of goes behind. Now for his second leg, it's kind of coming out from behind there, so we can't see so much of it, and we've just got these 3 front claws there, and he's got one going behind. So here is the general shape of our big, kind of fat, chunky looking toucan. We need his eye, so let's add his eye over here, and let's just add a little bit of oval shape around where the eye is, because we're going to have some slightly different colours going on there. Now his beak has a little bit of pattern in it, so at the end it's mostly red, so let's make a line to divide that bit up, and then it has a little kind of curve that comes up here where there's orange, and then this section down here is going to be mostly green, so we can just get those lines in to give us an idea of where we're going to be colouring. Okay, so we're nearly up for our time. I'm just going to outline him quickly in black, and then we'll start adding the colours. Just going around the whole of the bird with this black permanent marker here, just to outline everywhere where the pencil has already been drawn. Now the black permanent marker is useful because it will not melt, so when I'm adding my watercolours later, everywhere where I have coloured black now is going to stay nice and neat and black. Now if you have a black permanent marker, you could go ahead and just colour the whole of the main area of your bird with this black marker pen. You don't need to do anything else. You can just fill it all in black if you like. I'm doing most of it with the black permanent marker, creating a sort of a border where I'm going to have wet colours later so that they won't mix and dirty. And then I'm just going to use this black aquarelle crayon, which will melt, to fill in a central area to give a sort of feathery effect to the bird. Now I'm going to be adding my colours using these water-soluble marker pens. They are my favourite pens to use. They're called Fibrallo pens by Caran d'Ache, but any water-soluble markers will achieve this effect. However, I am using watercolour paper, which does help to give a really nice sort of flowy effect to the paints when you add water. Just colouring in the feet, the beak, the body, the chest, the face, with all the kind of bright colours that a toucan would have. And now when I add water, I like to start with the lightest colours first so that you don't end up with a dirty piece of artwork. So just filling in those turquoises, greens, dabbing away where you've got a bit too much water, just with a paper towel. Just filling in the branch there, going around the eyes, and last of all doing that black so we don't get any kind of dirtiness going into our nice bright colours. Now you don't have to do this, but I like to sort of use the brush once it's all black and it's with the wet paint to add some little tufty bits of fur coming out around his body. I just think he looks super cute, but you could leave him with a crisp outline if you prefer. Now when I have a brush which is wet and loaded up with paint, I'm just flicking it over the background here. So anytime I've got a bit of extra colour on that brush, I'm just flicking it everywhere just to give a little sort of spattered effect. But you don't need to do that if you prefer a nice neat background. You could even add some flowers or leaves in the background if you have the time. And here he is, the finished toucan. I like his nice bright colours. So I hope check you like out these awesome rainbow bird and a rainbow chicken made by Isabella and her mummy. I just love that you got mummy to do this with you, Isabella. These are beautiful. And this is Isabella's pebble fish. So lovely. Uros and Toucan have been working on their test tubes. Check these out. And this is Sam and Alice with their awesome submarines. One yellow, one rainbow coloured. Sophia has been gathering up these natural materials from outdoors and made a beautiful collage. Fatima is working on her lovely, neat handwriting. This is an Easter bunny and Mexican heart drawn by Dasha. These are just stunning. Well done, guys. And Harvey, who requested the Spinosaurus, has had a go. Look at this. What a fantastic Spinosaurus, Harvey. And this is Harvey's little brother, Marlo, having a go too. You guys are amazing. Keep those coming.